honestly don't know how, nor do I know why. But one thing is for sure. Super Mario Logan is officially no longer something I watch anymore. Now, I will be completely honest here. I more or less stopped watching Super Mario Logan for quite some time after the recent incident regarding, well, Jeffy and a couple of dishonest things that he's currently done to his fans. So either way, though, I mean, I didn't really watch him that much at all, at least not in the recent times. But despite all of that, though, I will be completely and utterly honest here. In the past, I was a huge fan of Super Mario Logan, and to be quite honest, a fan of Jeffy at a period of time. At least, at the very beginning, that is. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, Super Mario Logan is a plush channel created by, well, Logan 30acre, basically as somebody to sit there and start doing, well, plush channels specifically. Well, plush videos. It's kind of hard to really specify everything without at least watching one or two videos, so I would more or less recommend that you give that a shot, because my explanation in of its own self would not be that good, due to the fact that I really haven't watched him in quite some time, so I guess more or less I'm kind of fuzzy. But, enough rambling. This specific episode that I watched of Super Mario Logan more or less kind of put me on edge. Well, put me on edge for all the wrong reasons. The specific episode that I'm going to be talking about is the Super Mario Logan Jeffy's accident. Yeah, I know. It's about Jeffy, who's... Really, is it that surprising? But, to be completely honest here, though, this was, I think, at a period of time where Logan was doing nothing but Jeffy videos, so, I mean, it's not exactly that much of a surprise, to be honest. The episode starts off in the typical form of any remote Jeffy video. Specifically with Mario and Rosalina sitting down on the giant red couch, talking about a few things about how they were having a plan to go out for dinner that night, as it was supposedly their anniversary. Around that period of time, though, Jeffy, in of his own self, pops up from behind the couch, scaring the two of them. Mario, of course, scolds him for his actions, but Jeffy obviously pays no heed to it. In fact, he more or less ran over to Mario and Rosalina to ask them a question. Specifically the question being, "Hey Daddy, can I go to Chuck E. Cheese's now?" Of course, Mario's a little bit surprised at this, and more or less says, "Jeffy, why do you want to go to there? Why do you want to go there, and why now? Me and your mother are trying to sit there and plan our anniversary tonight. We don't have time to go, nor do we have the money." This, of course, upsets Jeffy in a lot of ways, and because of it, Jeffy starts throwing a tantrum. Now, Rosalina, of course, being the sweet and kind-hearted person that she is in the show, pretty much insists that Mario go on ahead and take him. If anything, just take him there for about an hour or so, and then they can come back and enjoy their time. Specifically going at the restaurant. Mario, of course, relents, because why not, honestly? He relents and he takes Jeffy over to a Chuck E. Cheese's that's somewhere located nearby. They do their usual thing by playing some games and everything like that. But even then, though, Mario just didn't really seem to even really want to be there. In fact, he repeatedly checked the clocks every time. It seemed to be more or less a running gag of him checking the clocks to make sure of it that they weren't late for their little anniversary dinner and everything. A minute or so passes around the episode, and Mario's continuously looking more and more worried. Well, at least as much of a plush toy can honestly look. And Mario, in of his own self, is trying to sit there and kind of rush Jeffy to get out of there, get his tickets, and go and pay for the prize, which Jeffy, in of his own self, obnoxiously waits for a very long time. Not to mention, completely annoys Mario so much to the point that he literally starts getting extremely angry. But as soon as they were in there, they were pretty much out. Jeffy had wound up getting this kind of toy gun of some sort. Likely a Nerf knockoff or something along those lines. During the car ride home, Mario is being incessantly agitated by Jeffy, who continuously asks if he can play with his little toy. Mario, of course, argues with him and tells him no, that he can't play with it, because of the fact of the matter that it would cause a distraction on the road. Jeffy, at this point in time, doesn't exactly want to listen, and immediately grabs for the gun, and Mario's sitting there trying to stop him. Of course, though, this didn't really work out too well. As Mario himself managed to look back up at the road, a car is coming by and hits the car, sending both of them flying out of the window in the process. Now, normally along the lines, Jeffy and of his own self would probably die at something like that, but given the episode's nature, it didn't really seem to be that way. The scene in of its own self cuts to a hospital where Rosalina is frantically running in, trying to check and see if Mario and Jeffy were okay. Needless to say, a doctor comes in and talks to her and tells her that yes, Jeffy and Mario were pretty much okay, but that Jeffy had suffered a few brain injuries because of that, well, crashing through the window kind of thing. Now this, of course, enrages Rosalina, and in and of its own self, it just continues to drive her crazier and crazier and crazier once she realizes that Mario was ultimately the one, so to speak, that caused the accident in itself. Once Mario wakes up, Rosalina bursts through the door rather violently and walks up to him, pretty much yelling at him for sitting there and causing Jeffy's big accident of some sort. Mario, of course, tries to defend himself, but to no avail. Rosalina walks out on him, and then, with that, the scene then cuts to show Jeffy lying down in another hospital bed, presumably in another room. However, this time around, Jeffy's body looks extremely mangled up, in a rather realistic kind of sense. No, not hyper-realistic or anything like such, but the puppet in of its own self seemed to be really cut up badly, with fake blood and other kind of, well, tubes and things like that sticking out of Jeffy's body. With that, it cut to the final part, which is usually the question of the day. The question of the day would be, would you take responsibility if you inadvertently caused a car accident? And with that, the episode of its own self ended. Now, I get it that this episode may have seemed rather short and more or less rather silly, but there's a reason why exactly this episode more or less kind of deterred me away from, well, watching Logan again. Main reason being is that the episode was not exactly that funny, for one. Number two, it involved a lot of unnecessary torture to Mario. And number three, the mangled body of Jeffy just, I don't know, it just stuck with me. It stuck in my head and continuously has caused me nightmares. I don't know why. I don't know why something like that would have caused me to have so many vivid nightmares as I have, but that's just what happened. There's nothing that I can do to ultimately change that. Nothing at all. Needless to say, though, Super Mario Logan's no longer a show on YouTube I watch anymore. I don't want to watch it any longer. I'm pretty much done with Logan in general. Like I said, it wasn't solely just because of the video itself, but more along the lines of what happened after that. The video, I can't really recall whether or not if it was uploaded to YouTube or Dailymotion or whatever. I can't recall a whole lot, because this did happen quite some time back. Likely chances the video in and of its own self is definitely not on Logan's channel if you look for it. Not really sure why, but I guess maybe to appease some rather upset fans who had watched it, or something along those lines. That's pretty much my story, at least for the time being. I have nothing else really more to say other than the fact that, well, this damaged me in more ways than you would think.